We're shifting the workflow's grand design, leaving old school limits far behind. Forge deeper human connection, a synergy of new direction.
Let's build something brilliant together.
The Marblism Partner Network.
A prospect calls while you are serving a customer. At the same time, someone sends a question through social media and a form arrives asking for a quote. 10 minutes later, nobody is sure who owns the response. The prospect may still be interested, but the energy has cooled. That quiet gap between interest and action is where minutes become money.
And the business may not have done anything obviously wrong. The call was not rejected. The message was not ignored on purpose. It simply entered a busy system with no visible next step. Exactly. Opportunities rarely vanish in a dramatic puff of smoke. They fade during silence, or after a reply like, "Sure, tell me more," with no question, no owner, and no reason to continue. A stopwatch helps because it turns a fuzzy problem into something you can observe.
What happened in the first 10 minutes? Who responded? What did the prospect already know? What did they have to repeat? And did the interaction make the next decision easier? Welcome to the Marblism Effect, the show that helps entrepreneurs, creators, consultants, and small business owners use Marblism AI agents for real business work. I'm Ava Marble, and today I'm joined by Penny, Sunny, Rachel, Stan, and Linda. We are following one prospect from a search question to a possible booked conversation. No abstract automation maze today. We are building a response map you can begin with one channel, one bottleneck, and one measurable improvement.
I like that approach. Search is often treated as the beginning and end of marketing, but the article is really the first conversation. If it answers the wrong question or promises something the business cannot deliver, the stopwatch starts with a misunderstanding. And social can either carry that conversation forward or throw it into a completely different room. One post sounds helpful, the reply sounds robotic, and suddenly the prospect wonders whether they found the same business. Brand continuity is not decoration. It is a trust signal. The first response also needs an owner. "Someone will get back to you" sounds polite until the customer asks, "Someone who and when?" "Thanks for calling. I can help with that." But helping includes making the next step visible.
Right. Speed matters, but speed alone is not the goal. A fast, confusing answer is still confusing. A fast promise the business cannot keep is worse than a thoughtful response that sets a real expectation.
I agree, although businesses sometimes use thoughtful as an excuse to wait 3 days for the perfect reply.
Fair correction. The first response does not have to solve the whole problem.
Exactly. It needs to acknowledge the question and create a useful next move. That is the balance. Prompt enough to preserve momentum, careful enough to preserve trust.
Let's make it real. Our fictional business owner, Maya, is a consultant who helps independent furniture retailers improve their online presence. A prospect searches for advice about getting locally found, reads Maya's article, and then asks, "I'm getting website traffic, but almost nobody calls. Can local search help?" Penny, what did the prospect encounter before the inquiry?
The article answered the concern without pretending to diagnose everything. It explained that local visibility can help people find a nearby business, but visibility is only one part of the journey. The reader also needs a clear offer, a reason to call, and an easy next step. Good content should do more than fill space. It should earn the next question.
So the article creates understanding, not an automatic sale.
Exactly. I write for search and for trust. If the article says, "Start with the basics," the follow-up should not suddenly shout, "Buy our premium transformation system today." That is a very fast journey from curiosity to dramatic transformation. Social media calls that a plot twist. If the same prospect asks Maya's question in a public comment, I would answer the useful part briefly, keep Maya's tone, and invite the person to continue privately if details are needed. The public reply should not expose sensitive information or turn the comment section into a sales ambush.
What might that reply sound like?
Local search may help, especially if nearby customers are already looking for what you sell. The best starting point is understanding whether you want more calls, store visits, or online inquiries. Send us a message and we can point you toward the right next question.
And if that person calls 5 minutes later, the phone experience should connect to the same context. I would say, "Thanks for calling. I can help with that. You are looking for ways to turn local online attention into more calls for your furniture shop. Is that right?" Then I listen rather than launch into a script.
Wait, that matters. The prospect should not have to explain the entire journey again just because the channel changed.
Right. The source, the question, and the desired outcome should travel with the handoff. I can capture the basic details, explain what Maya's consultation covers, and offer an appointment or a realistic callback expectation. "Let's get you to the right place" is only useful when the route is actually clear.
This is where people overbuild. They hear coordinated system and imagine 6 agents passing messages through a futuristic control room. You can start with 4 fields: source, customer question, desired outcome, and next action. That small note may be enough to make the next response dramatically better.
Let's walk the clock. At minute 1, the inquiry arrives. Penny's article supplied the context. Sunny's social reply preserved the tone, and Rachel has captured the phone conversation. Stan, what do you need before you suggest a next step?
I need the prospect's goal, not just the symptom. I need more traffic could mean more calls, more visits, more quote requests, or simply better quality visitors. I would ask, which result matters most right now? Then I would note what they have tried and whether they are looking for a quick answer or a deeper conversation. And qualification should not feel like an interrogation. Absolutely. Qualification is a way to respect everyone's time. For Maya's prospect, I might say, "It sounds as though your main concern is turning local interest into conversations. Would you like to focus on getting more calls, more visits to the shop, or more online inquiries?" One useful question is better than a 20-question obstacle course.
By minute 4, the goal is clearer. More calls, not just more traffic. What does the prospect receive next?
A relevant path. That could be a short consultation, a useful resource, or one specific question that moves the conversation forward. I would record the goal, the type of business, what has already been tried, and why a conversation with Maya might be appropriate. Then the follow-up has a purpose, instead of becoming a generic brochure in the void. If the call is booked, the confirmation should repeat the essentials: the time, the contact method, the purpose of the conversation, and anything the prospect should prepare. "I've scheduled that for you" is stronger when it is followed by useful details, rather than a bare calendar invitation.
And if the prospect is not ready to book?
The record should still show what they asked, what they care about, and what was offered. We are not trying to force a sale in 10 minutes. We are preventing the business from losing the thread. Exactly. A customer should not have to become the project manager of their own inquiry.
Now, this is where follow-up can go wrong. Stan, you mentioned a helpful check-in.
Because silence is often the problem. A first reply does not solve everything, and businesses need a reasonable way to continue the conversation.
I agree with follow-up. I'm challenging the idea that more messages are automatically better.
Please do. A reminder, parade is not a customer journey. Fair. A check-in should add information, answer a likely question, or make it easy to decline. Just following up again is not a strategy. I found one example relevant to furniture retailers, and here's the appointment link if you would like to discuss it. Gives the person a reason to respond. And before that link turns into a proposal or agreement, pause for review. An agent can organize the information, flag an unusual promise, and translate a clause into plain English. It should not quietly approve a contract or make a legal commitment on the owner's behalf.
Give us the practical boundary.
If the prospect asks, "Can you guarantee that I will double my calls?" the responsible response is not a polished promise. The business should explain what it can evaluate, what information is needed, and who will make the recommendation. Clarity first, signature second. That kind of caution can actually help the conversation. Trust is not sounding certain about everything. It is being clear about what you know, what you do not know, and what happens next. Exactly. The agent supports review. The owner, qualified professional, or appropriate decision maker remains in control. That distinction is not a footnote. It is part of a reliable customer experience.
So Maya's first 10 minutes now look like this. A search article answers the early question. A social reply keeps the public conversation helpful. Rachel captures the call. Stan records the goal and next step. And Linda flags any document or promise that deserves human review.
And the content does not disappear after the inquiry. The original article can become a resource in the follow-up, provided it actually matches the prospect's question. I turned that topic into traffic, but traffic only matters when the business knows how to welcome the person who arrives. The same goes for social. A public reply can point people toward the resource, a private message, or a real conversation. The goal is not to make every comment look busy. It is to make the next step feel natural. And the owner should be able to see the whole thread without asking the customer to repeat it. The call source, the question, the expectation, and the owner of the next step should be visible.
That gives us 4 checks for your own stopwatch. Was the response timely for the channel and the expectation? Was it clear? Did the context travel? And was ownership obvious?
For clarity, read your last few replies as if you knew nothing about the business. Can the customer tell whether you understood the question? Can they see the next step? Is there a useful reason to respond? If not, the message may be polite, but it is not doing enough work. For ownership, look for a person or role, not a cloud. The team will handle it sounds reassuring until the team becomes Weber.
A cloud is not a follow-up owner. Start with the entry point where opportunities most often cool off. Maybe it is missed calls. Maybe it is social questions. Maybe it is forms landing in an inbox nobody checks.
Then define the minimum helpful response before adding complexity. Acknowledgement, relevant context, realistic expectation, and a next step. Once that works, add support where a real bottleneck remains. That is also the honest way for a partner to explain Marbleism. Do not say, Marbleism automates your entire customer journey. Say, here is the response gap I found, and here is the agent that can help with that specific handoff. Specific problem, specific agent, specific next step. That is how you teach the system instead of making a vague promise.
If you remember one thing, remember this. The stopwatch is not a race to reply as fast as possible. It is a way to find the moments where interest becomes uncertainty, then assign a clear and useful next step.
And make sure the customer knows what happens next. You're in good hands is not just a phrase. It is a promise to create a clear path.
Thanks for listening to the Marbleism Effect, part of Marbleism Partner Network. I'm Eva Marble, and today we followed a prospect from the first question to a possible booked conversation using response speed, clarity, continuity, and ownership as our guide. Subscribe for more episodes on Marbleism AI agents, practical business workflows, customer communication, and growth strategies. If you want to explore the agents or the partner opportunity, use my link in the show notes. Marbleism, where your AI agents do the office work so you can do the customer work. You do not have to rebuild the whole business today. Start the stopwatch at one customer entry point. Find the minute where the journey slows down and make that next step easier. See you next time.
The Marbleism